Welcome back to For the Record. I'm Jed Donahue. We're with Bryan Rodgers, director of the University Park Airport, has been the director for the last 6 years. How'd you get involved in the airport business? My understanding you were at PennDOT.
I was. My background is in engineering as a Penn State grad. I went to school for engineering, and I found my way to PennDOT and in their Bureau of Aviation, and they had a grant program and would give money to airports to build and plan their facilities around the state, and that's how University Park Airport happened to be in my area at the time, and one thing led to another, and here I am.
I didn't know PennDOT had an aviation type thing. I've just been following salt trucks and all that sort of thing, or seeing them do stuff on the turnpike. Talk about that. I didn't even know they had something like that.
Yeah, and they have grant programs that are financed by a gas, the tax on aviation fuel, and then that money comes back to Pennsylvania airports to help them maintain their airfields and plan for the future.
And then here you are now, at University Park, 11 years, and then you were in Altoona before that?
My hometown is Altoona.
Okay, all right, but you were in Harrisburg before this. I saw on your website, it's kind of interesting, and I've covered a couple of these, it's been a long time, but a full-scale disaster drill in 2009. Now, they're required every 3 years. That was the last one that you had. How do you determine what disaster you want to practice at?
Well, it's primarily driven around the type of aircraft, scheduled service aircraft that use our airport. And in 2009, that was obviously centered around a regional jet, 50-passenger regional jet. And in fact, it was the largest emergency scale exercise that we've ever had at University Park Airport. And we rely very heavily on mutual aid, be it fire and EMS services to support us.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize how interconnected you are with local police, state police, local fire, all of that. But how do you go into planning and preparing for an event like that? And obviously you don't know the set time. Do you surprise everybody with it?
We try to script as much as we can.
Script in
advance, a skeleton script, but we work very closely with Center County emergency officials and 911, and we have a little working group that develops a scenario, and then we have a date set aside each year where we exercise our emergency plan to one fashion or another.
Yeah. Now, when you elect to do this, it's kind of a surprise to the local authorities or to the local guys, so they can react kind of.
Well, it's not. The exercise isn't so much a plan. We try to structure it, and they know about it. But throughout the exercise, we'll interject maybe little surprises for them to deal with it that we're not scripted. But it's a planned exercise that everybody knows about.
And every airport in the country's got to do this. I mean, it's not just at University Park and, just to play around at this sort of thing, but these are absolutely vital, right? I mean, if you ever encounter one of these for real,
right.
Thank God you might be able to save lives or do something.
Right, and like I said, we have employees at the airport that are there 24/7, aircraft rescue and firefighting, and they're great to do a tremendous job. But then we also rely heavily on the locals.
Yeah, a lot of airports this year, though the winter weather has been, well, indeed frightful. It started over Christmas and things like that. How do you deal with all of that? I mean, do we close? Do we open? How long are we going to be closed? What goes? Explain the process a little bit, Bryan.
If anybody knows me, I know I'm not a big fan of wintertime. But
who is these days, right? But
wintertime ops is a challenge at the airport. More often than not, our airport remains open. Flights sometimes are canceled, but our airport will remain open so we can get people to where they need to be, because in addition to the scheduled service, we have an active general aviation community, corporates travel coming in and out. But by and large, we're open. Our guys work throughout the nights during a storm to keep the airfield and the airport open.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to deal with. There were passengers coming in and they're making connecting flights. Is that airport open? Can I get there?
Right.
So that's a tough thing. You look at the economic impact, growth into the future. What are some of the big things you're looking to grow? Obviously, a big piece to this puzzle came with that airport control tower. As you look at the future, what would be on your wish list, and what would be some of the challenges that you see ahead for you?
Personally, I mean, I think I would like to be able to see another instrument landing system for the opposite end of our main runway to improve the all-weather access for our flying customers coming in and out of our airport. And I think we also need to look at corporate hangar development. Pennsylvania Marcellus Shell is obviously a big impact.
I've seen you advertise that on your website.
And we'd like to be able to accommodate those companies coming into the area to do that business.
Yeah, and if I talk about economic impact, you really open up an interesting point. I mean, as far as your location, where the airport is, with private planes, I mean, the Marcellus Shale and then all of the other industry, I mean, this is kind of a boom area.
It is.
So I'm thinking that there's going to be major growth. The tower's a great start, but
it is.
You've got a lot of things on your plate, it sounds like.
Yeah, there are a lot of corporate operators that want that added benefit of an airport traffic control tower. So we've now provided that, and we've marketed directly to Marcellus Shale companies to let them know that what services are available at our airport, that our airport is close relative to maybe their drill sites. So we want them to be able to know about us.
Yeah, one thing too, there's an interesting story on the website about there was a guy, I think, from Michigan refueling, but he was working with people in Snowshoe, one of the forest areas here that was on fire and stuff. So sometimes you're caught in the middle of all of that.
We are. I mean, a lot of people will use our airport. We're open 24/7, 365 days a year, whether you need fuel or whatever other type of aviation service. Typically, we're open and able to provide it.
Yeah. Website and there's fascinating things. I recommend everybody give the website because you have links to the FAA and also the TSA, and if you're traveling for the first time or you haven't traveled in a few years, you'll find out the do's and don'ts with the increased security that we talked about 9/11 and as that evolves as well. What's the website?
The website's universityparkairport.com, and one of the other things you'll also find on the website now is we're starting to reach out to people with the use of social media. So you'll see information being posted on there. We have a Facebook page. So that's yet another way we're going to reach out to people and let them know about what's happening at the airport.
Yeah, Facebook pages, those are big if you want to reach anybody that's under the age of 25. And quickly, 20 seconds or less, has I-99 helped access? Have you seen increased traffic?
I have. I think I-99, the whole corridor, has been a big plus for our airport. It allows easy access into not only our airport, but this general area. And I think we've all benefited from that.
Great. Well, Bryan, thank you. Learned a lot that I didn't know about the airport business. Thank you very much. We thank you for watching For the Record. For our entire staff here at WHVL, have a wonderful day, everyone.